I'm going to use this funky little machine to help spread this big bag of native seeds to help regenerate this whole landscape into native forest. Step 1, grab all the seeds, put them in the bucket. Step 2, walk around, find the locations that require a boost with native seeds. Step 3, load up the Seed Blaster 2000 and get ready to go. Step 4, load up the machine, walk around and spread the seeds. Step number 5, take a seat, sit around, wait for a couple of decades and let the natives come alive. Basically, it's a seed bomb, but in a larger scale and at a higher speed of spreading the seeds. And I don't have to go through and roll the balls every time. I just load this baby up and spread the seeds. In case you are new to this project, let me quickly introduce you to what we're doing. Last year, my partner and I sank all our savings into purchasing this little piece of land. It used to be a pine forest, and then in 2024, it was harvested, clear-felled, and destroyed a little bit, and a mess was left behind. Our dream is to help regenerate and rewild this whole piece of land into beautiful native forest. That way the native birds, the geckos, the lizards, the insects, and anyone who wants to can come here and thrive. 7 months since the purchase, the regeneration is coming along quite nicely on a lot of the hillsides. There's quite a bit of green, like you can see behind me, and a lot of that is natives. However, we've got this little area that seems to be lagging behind a little bit. So my thinking is, by introducing a few more native seeds, we can boost this all up to regenerate into natives very quickly. But before we get to work, there's 2 plants that I need to introduce to you. First one is broom, and the second one, this prickly one over here, is gorse. These are 2 plants that really love colonizing bare land, and after clear felling of this piece of land, those are the 2 predominant plants that come and take over. We've also got native pioneer plants. However, they can't compete with the speed and abundance of the broom and the gorse usually. The broom and the gorse are not necessarily an issue. They can grow old and provide shade and cover for the native species to grow underneath and then take over the long term. These are 2 pioneer species. They need full sun, and once they become shaded, they die off. The majority of all these slopes and the majority of the land is currently being covered in that broom and the gorse, but also quite a bit of native regeneration happening. So those are areas that I'm not too worried about with regards to the regeneration. They'll do their own thing. And even if I were to try to either plant in there or add the seeds, it is questionable how much of those would actually take, because a lot of the ground is already currently being covered, which is what we want. My hope is that by adding the big seed bomb to this area where the broom and the gorse are still relatively young, that the native seed can establish and regenerate either underneath the canopy more quickly, or even so quickly that it can compete with these 2 while they are growing. Grab a bucket, grab your seeds, pop those in the bucket. Now let's add some soil. As you see, we've got heaps of it around. We've had quite a bit of rain recently, and it's also clay soil. That means that the soil is quite moist, and this will allow me to mix all the seeds together and hopefully spread them out over the soil, but they'll stick a bit to the soil so that they become heavy and land on the surface rather than be blown away or washed away by the next rainfall event. I promise you, it doesn't smell half as bad as it looks. It looks way worse, but the smell is really not that bad at all. I'll add them to the Seed Blaster 2000. I remove any stones or big sticks, any kind of debris that will kind of block the channel of the Seed Blaster. Load up the machine, walk around and spread the seeds. Let me introduce you to the plants that we will be introducing into the landscape. Quick warning, this is the plant nerd section of this video. we're going to unpack this bag, which is full of seeds that I've collected over the past year, native plants of New Zealand. I'll talk you through some of the thinking behind why I collected these and what we're going to do with them. One of the common species that is often planted in regeneration or rewilding projects here in Aotearoa are the Mānuka and the Kānuka. So in this tiny little bag, I've got branches of Mānuka with the seed capsules on them, and then pretty much the rest of this big bag is all Kānuka branches, which I gratefully bought off a few different trees. The seed capsules have opened up, same goes for Mānuka, the seed has dropped to the bottom. I've also got a big bag full of flax seed. We've done some experiments with flax before on the property, but I'll definitely incorporate some flax seed into the mix as well. I've got a bunch of these mushy, squishy, fermented bags. Another one that you might have seen before with us on this channel is the tea Kōuka or cabbage tree, and in this bag I've simply collected the fruit, and the fruit has completely fermented. Smells not as bad as you think it might be, and actually the idea behind this, it's going to simulate somewhat going through the digestive tract of the birds, because you want the fruits to be somewhat damaged and washed off the seed so that the seed can become activated by the raindrops and the soil. Another mushy bag, squishy bag, is of the marble leaf, Puta Puta Weta, which is a gorgeous, stunning native tree that isn't very often used in replanting, but since I was able to collect some of the fruit, we're going to throw it in the mix as well. Another tree that's not very common, that is not planted very often, is seven finger or pātete. One of the reasons why it's not planted very often is because it's a bit more shade loving, so it likes a bit more shade, so it doesn't do well in those pioneering situations of trying to colonize bare ground. In this bag we've got mahoi or whiteywood. That's a native plant that grows abundantly on the property already. Because we've got a decent amount of rainfall, quite a high amount of rainfall, and no frosts, the mahoi is one of the pioneer species for this location. Doesn't take away that we'll just keep adding more by adding seeds into the mix. Then I've got a bag of seeds from a plant that I do not know the origin of. So that's a good reminder that whenever you go out seed collecting, remember to directly label and date whatever you put into the bag, because you will forget. In this tiny little paper bag, I've got a bit of a controversial plant. Some of the beekeepers will definitely want to tune out now because they're not going to be happy with this. This is Tutu or Tupakahi, which is a solid plant that really helps stabilize soils. It's not a lot, and I'm not going to be spreading it everywhere, but I just want to do a few trials in a few different locations and see what its capabilities are on clay soil.
This is the part of the video where I need to make a little confession.
I didn't do any testing whatsoever before recording the video. I committed to this idea completely from the get-go without even testing it. Now, in the field, working with this Seed Master 2000, turns out to be not as effective as I thought it would be. The handle and the little nozzle that allows for the seed and the soil to come through gets blocked every few seconds that I use it. So this is the point where I need to say, sorry, lured you in with a bit of clickbait. The rest of the video I'll spend using a bucket and my hand in spreading the seeds. We made a commitment by starting this channel to showcase the successes and the wins, but also the fails. So pulling through and publishing this video is a way to honor that commitment. I wanted to share a few of the lessons that I take away from this project. The first one being, before you commit to a major project, it's always worthwhile to test something. I didn't do a test with the Seed Master 2000 before committing to making a whole video project about it. And that's too bad, because it was a great idea, but in practice it didn't work too well. The second lesson or second reminder is technology is nice when it works, not so nice when it doesn't, and I guess we all know what that experience is like. But then thirdly, and most importantly, I think it's been a reminder of adaptation, and I guess that's what resilience is also about. You take your lessons and your failures from what happened and just adapt and take those along. But this is a ginormous project, a huge dream, and also a constant reminder of how humble we need to be, because you think you know everything with regards to regeneration and rewilding, but actually we are continuously being proven wrong. Our biggest takeaway is that we need to be open to those things and not hold on to things that we think that need to happen, but rather be open to things that can happen. If you've enjoyed this video or it's given you any value whatsoever, one simple, easy and free way that you can help support this project is by sharing this video with one other person that you love or care about.
Test shot, buckets, seeds, me. Test. I'm going to. Sitting here talking about all the other beautiful things that I want to talk about.